na irregularity?
Siguro sir, medyo steep, lalo na po yung 11
You do agree
days
na medyo meron
sa 2022
parang ano?
po.
Oh, Your Honor, just if I may have one last minute, nagtataka lang po kasi ako based on documents. Meron kasi ditong quarter 4, 2022, quarter 1 to quarter 3 ng 2023. Parang wala po ako nakikitang quarter 4, fourth quarter ng 2024. Ilan po ba ang nagamit naman dun sa period na yun, ma'am?
Mr. Chair, wala po silang liquidation for the fourth quarter ng 2023.
Fourth quarter ng 2023, wala na
Wala
po.
po, Mr. Chair.
Bakit po kaya?
Based sa, sa ATL, ATL ba? ATL po, wala po yata silang cash advance nung fourth quarter.
So in short, ma'am, would it be accurate to say na wala pong ginamit na rental nung fourth quarter of the year 2023?
Yes, Mr. Chair. And lahat po nung remaining na confidential fund nila, hindi na nila nagamit.
Hindi na nagamit.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So another question can be raised na ano po kaya yung programa na pinaggamitan kung bakit bigla na lang nung fourth quarter hindi na kailangan ng funding doon. Yun yung parang pwedeng maisip ng simpleng tao na bakit biglang nawala na lang yung funding na hindi na lang biglang kinailangan. Tama po ba, ma'am?
Tama naman po, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Again, Mr. Chair, thank you po, ma'am, for always being cordial and putting a smile in this committee. Mr. Chair, yun lamang po, if I may reiterate, pasensya na po that I took a little bit of time of this committee. Yun lang po talagang na-notice ko na medyo malaki yung discrepancy na nung fourth quarter of 2022, 16 million for 11 days. Tapos nung third quarter, naging 5 million for 79 days. We cannot dig deeper. That's why in aid of legislation, we really have to craft laws for us to be able to dig deeper na hindi na po maulit. At least may kasagutan na po sa susunod ang COA sa atin. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chair, and marami pong salamat sa inyo.
Thank you, Congressman Ernix Dionisio.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Acop.
before we leave the budget of the OVP, can I ask a few clarificatory questions?
Yes, with the indulgence of Congressman Johnny Pimentel, Congressman Acop is recognized by the Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Camora, binasa ko po lahat yung 34 na acknowledgement receipts. There's no duration. Hindi po sinasabi na ito dito sa acknowledgement receipts na ito na yung, for example, December 21, 2022, 500,000, walang duration. So, how do you interpret this? Is this for 1 day or for 11 days?
It could be interpreted po na for...
Tinatanong ko po siya, how did you interpret this?
Since meron naman pong sinubmit, hindi na po namin, as long as it is within the period po of the cash advance.
Paano po yung 500,000, ang date is 31 December 2022. At saka may undated acknowledgement receipt, 250,000. Paano nyo in-interpret itong mga ganito, Madam Kawa?
Usually po, Mr. Chair, tinitignan lang namin as long as it is within the period nung cash advance.
Yes, but how do you interpret, for example, last December 21, 2022, 3 acknowledgement receipts were given, right? In the amount, totaling the amount of 1.1 million. I can interpret it that it's payment for the safe house for 1 day, not for 11 days. Why? Kasi paano yung date na check acknowledgement receipt na December 31, 2022? Is it for 11 days also or for 1 day?
It is possible that it's for 1 day only.
1 day.
It is possible,
Tapos
Mr.
ang
Chair.
safe house is worth 500,000 pesos per day.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ano kayang klaseng safe house yun? Kaya yun po yung sinasabi namin dito na hindi po kapanipaniwala yung mga documentary evidence of payment submitted. Di po ba? Talaga bang sa acknowledgement receipt, for example, for the payment of rentals, hindi nakalagay doon yung duration? Wala po?
Wala po, Mr. Chair. Based dun sa itsura niya kanina, Mr. Chair, wala pong duration yung...
Ilan po kayong taga-COA na nandito? Ilan po kayong mga taga-COA? So, may I ask those members of COA, nakita nyo na po yung pagtatanong ko, pagtatanong ni Chairman, pagtatanong ni Congressman Junicio, don't you find anything wrong with that joint circular? Pwede ko bang makuha yung kasagutan nyo? Wala po kayong nakikitang mali o hindi tama doon sa joint circular na yon?
Sino po yung pinaka-head ng COA? Yung pinakamataas po na nandito? May we... Could you please introduce yourself, ma'am?
Your Honor, good afternoon, everyone. May I be recognized? I am Director Sofia Himora of Cluster 1.
Director?
4.
Okay. Ma'am, nakapag-oath na po ba kayo?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The last time we were here, the last preceding
During the last
to
hearing?
this. Yes,
Apa.
yes, Your Honor.
Sige. You may continue, ma'am.
Tanong ko po, Madam, I would like to repeat it. Sa pagtatanong namin dito sa hearing na ito, pwede ko po bang malaman kung wala po kayong nakikitang diferensya doon po sa joint circular insofar as the liquidation of confidential funds is concerned?
Your Honor, I would say that the fact that my jurisdiction is on a regular audit, so of course you know that there are so many rules on those auditing rules when it comes to our regular audit, and for that the confidential funds, we are bound by the joint circular.
Hindi naman,
So,
hindi. Madam, let me cut
yes.
you there. Kasi ito na po yung last na, ako na po yung last na magtatanong tungkol sa confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President. Ang tanong ko po ay, after hearing, narinig nyo na po lahat ng katanungan at kasagutan ni Atty. Camora sa aming mga katanungan. Don't you find anything wrong with that joint circular insofar as the liquidation of confidential funds is concerned? Walang mali? Walang diferensya? Ang tanong ko lang po naman is answerable by yes or no. Bakit hirap na hirap po kayong sumagot sa amin ng yes or no?
Your Honor, with due respect, of course, with all your inputs here, even during the last hearing, so it would appear that when we should have looked into the details, which it is we do it in a regular, on a regular audit. The fact that you have said that how many the reasonableness of the payment for the safe houses provided by the Office of the President with regards to the confidential funds. So, if we may relate that to looking into the details on to substantiate these expenses charged to the confidential fund, of course, in my opinion, as an auditor for the regular audit and all of your questioning earlier and even in the last hearing, I would say, of course, that the joint circular should be revisited and all the inputs here should be reflected in the joint circular, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Auditor. You have satisfied my question. Marami pong salamat.
Maraming salamat din po
Thank you,
for
Mr.
this
Chair.
opportunity.
Ma'am, I understand that you are not the only one who crafted the joint circular. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. The
So-
fact that it's a joint circular, it's crafted together with the DILG, the Governance Commission for GOCCs, the National Defense, the DBM, and of course the Commission on Audit.
So maybe you could also give inputs to the other departments who are together with your commission to revisit the joint circular. Tama po
Yes,
ba?
Your Honor.
Thank you po. Yes. We will now proceed to the interpellation to the Department of Education. But before we proceed, the Chair would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Rolando Valeriano of the 2nd District of Manila, the Honorable Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez of One Rider Party List. Okay, we will now proceed. The first to interpolate, the Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Johnny Pimentel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My interpellation would focus on the implementation of infrastructure projects in DepEd. I would like to direct my questions to Mr. Ipimako Dinsing. Mr. Dinsing, are you still connected with DepEd?
Your Honor, may I, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Epimako
I left
Dinsing,
DepEd
you are
effective
recognized.
September 30, Your Honor,
September 30, 2024.
2024.
Bakit po kayo umalis sa DepEd, Mr. Dinsing?
With the intention of running for public office, Your Honor.
Hindi ba kayo tinanggal sa DepEd?
Hindi po.
Because from what I gathered, you were made to submit a courtesy resignation.
Opo, ahead.
Yes,
Opo.
you did.
Opo.
And your courtesy resignation was accepted.
Tama po yan.
It was short of saying, a courteous way of saying that you are out of DepEd. Actually, from the information that I got, nakiusap ka pa na ma-retain dun sa DepEd.
No,
But
hindi
the
po.
administration did not allow it. But anyway,
Yusek
the-
Dinsing, may I remind you to please address the Chair?
I apologize, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
anyway, that is another matter. Kailan po kayo na appoint sa DepEd, Mr. Dinsing?
Effective, yung document is July 18, 2022, and I acted as Chief of Staff until December 31, 2022.
July 18, 2022 to September 30, 2024.
Apa.
So yung first appointment mo, pagpasok mo sa DepEd, anong binigay na position sa iyo?
Until December 31, Chief of Staff muna po ako. Dahil ina-arrange
Staff.
pa yung mga bagong appointees at the time. I was the first appointee at the time, Your Honor.
No, when you entered July 18, were you appointed as Chief of Staff, Undersecretary?
At Undersecretary, Chief of Staff, yes.
Undersecretary.
Chief of Staff, yes.
Undersecretary for what?
Chief of Staff.
So concurrent yun, Undersecretary and Chief of Staff.
Tama po. That was the first position
You
at the
served
time.
then as Chief of Staff of Vice President Sara.
Tama po yan, as of December 31.
So sabay kayong pumasok.
Ahead lang ba siya? By, July 1 po siya. Ako July 18 officially.
Aside from the DepEd portfolio, ano pang government service na napasukan mo na?
Prior to DepEd, I was DILG Undersecretary.
From what year?
From 2018 to 2022, and I entered DILG as Assistant Secretary for Plans and Programs from 2016 to 2018.
Prior to the ILG appointment.
I was from the private sector, Your Honor.
So in short, as a government public servant, you only served as DILG Assistant Secretary and DepEd Undersecretary.
Tama po yan. 8 years in total, Your Honor.
Aside from being a Chief of Staff, ano pa bang ang designation sa inyo?
Nung first 6 months po in office, yun lang po. Then when the Matatag agenda was formulated, the form reform areas included infrastructure. So by January 31, during the basic education report, I was announced to take care of the infrastructure strand, newly created, Your Honor.
So what does that cover? You were in charge of the school infrastructure and facilities.
Tama po yun.
Is this a division or the department? Or a program? Ano bang ibig sabihin nitong
It's a strand, Your Honor, like the curriculum and teaching strand, like the administration strand. So it's a policy level position, Your Honor.
So what covers, anong mandato mo dito sa school infrastructure and facilities?
It's to create policy on how infrastructure should be made, creating the long-term strategic direction. Nagkaroon kami ng comprehensive school infrastructure development plan for 2030. Then, coordination with DPWH because the implementer of the new construction of DepEd is DPWH, not DepEd.
Were you involved in the procurement of the school buildings?
No, Your Honor.
But you were in charge of the allocation of the budget of the school buildings.
The identification, Your Honor. We have a committee to do that.
And ikaw ang in charge doon sa identification.
Ako po ang in charge, pero sabihin, I had a committee created for the identification.
Okay, ano ba ang mga programs doon sa school infrastructure and facilities?
So it includes, Your Honor, new construction implemented by the DPWH. Then we have the school furnitures implemented by the regional offices. And we have the last mile school, electrification, water systems, and implemented by the division offices.
So if you started in 2022, in short, you handled the budget for 2023 and also for 2024, hindi po ba? For the school buildings.
For the 2023 po, hindi po. The school buildings was under the administration strand. So I only took over 2023.
What was the budget? What was the budget of the 2023 school building program?
The original budget was 5.9 billion. Yun po ang nasa NEP. And it
That was for 2023.
23 po. That i-explain ko yung original po. 5.9 billion sa NEP. It was only limited to 5th and 6th class municipality. Then paglabas po ng GIA, nadagdagan po ng 9.7 billion. So a total of 15.6 billion, 2023 GIA.
For 2024,
2024, sa NEP po is 19.7. By when the GIA came out, it became 24.7 billion for 2024.
so i-cover din ng SIF yung Basic Education Facilities Front Programs, hindi po ba?
Opo. Tama po yun.
So under din sa iyo yun,
Ang alin po yung?
yung BEFF, the
Opo.
Basic Education
When you say
Facilities
BFF,
and
that's the
Programs.
total infrastructure program.
But there is a discrepancy. Ang sabi mo kanina, 19.7 billion ang
NEP.
allocated.
NEP.
But it states here that in the 2023 GAA, the amount of 23,417,897 pesos was appropriated in the GAA for 2023.
Your Honor, that's BFF. So that includes new construction, which is 15.6 billion, my electrification, my water system, my repairs, around 4.9 billion, and I think last mile school. So a total of 23 billion, Your Honor.
So you were the one in charge for the identification.
Tama po yan.
Aside from the identification, ano pa ba ang mandato mo as undersecretary? What exactly is your designation? Undersecretary for what? For operations, for administration?
Starting 2023, Undersecretary for School Infrastructure and Facilities, starting 2023.
So, sakop mo nga lahat ng mga school buildings.
Tama po,
Mr.
tama
Chair.
po.
Okay. So, you were the ones who decided sinong bibigyan ng school buildings kasi sabi mo kanina, ikaw ang nag-identify. So you were the ones, kasi ang proseso po niyan, nagpapadala yung mga superintendent division, or rather the schools division in each district or in each province. They have proposals for the repair, for the construction, and it goes to your office. And then ikaw ang nag-identify sinong popondohan. Dahil hindi naman pwedeng pondohan lahat, hindi po ba?
Tama po, tama po.
Correct.
Pero for this purpose, Your Honor, I made sure that it is equitably allocated. That's why in August 4, 2023, we created a National Technical Working Group composed of 4 area managers, members of Education Facilities Division, merong operation strand na outsider sa SIF strand para ho fair ang allocation and based on needs. And there's a criteria. The criteria is 70% should be allocated to those which are in makeshifts, yung talagang walang classroom from the very beginning, and 30% allocated dun sa may shortage, kagaya ng 2 shifts, 3 shifts, yung po shortage po yun. So nakafocus
Mr.
po
Chair,
dun.
merong committee na nagde-decide
Tama po yun.
kung sinong bibigyan ng allocation.
Opo.
Based on the proposed list of the divisions. Hindi
Tama po.
ba?
We assume na validated na rin siya.
So in short, ikaw talaga ang nagde-decide kung sinong binibigyan.
Once na nagawa na listahan ng yung komite, I just accept it at is because I assume that they follow the criteria that we set.
But I think you're the one who is really deciding because if I recall, during the budget hearing, Mr. Chair, for 2023, ang pinadala po ni Mr. Dinsing during the party consultations, pinadala ng DepEd during the party consultations. If you remember, for every budget hearings, before the pre-plenary budget hearings, may pinapadala po ng mga representative, in most cases it's the secretary. I recall in 2023, during the budget deliberations, kayo ang pinadala na regarding sa mga school buildings.
Tama po yun. I remember that was, I think, 3rd week of August 21 or 22. Tapos at that time, tapos na po yung listahan na ginawa ng National Technical Working Group. I think the list was supposed to be around 15.1 billion. Yun po ang pinresent namin sa consultation.
So in short, you really have a big role. You have the big role in identifying and allocating funds for the different divisions with regards to school buildings. Hindi po ba?
Tama po, tama po.
Ngayon, ang tanong ko, in the 2024 budget or the National Expenditure Program, there was an allocation for Surigao del Sur, in fact, 2 districts. One in the amount of 103 million pesos for, if I'm not mistaken, Tagbina National High School, and another 70 million pesos for Barubon National High School. But unfortunately, in fact, there was already a notice from DepEd to DPWH to conduct the biddings already. However, all of a sudden, the biddings were stopped because accordingly, the funds are not available. Paano po nangyari yun, Mr. Chair? Na nakalagay na nga doon sa National Expenditure Programs, pagdating doon sa 2024, nawala yung budget.
Ang nangyari po noon, Mr. Chair, sabi ko nga, meron na identify na 15.1 billion yung National Technical Working Group, which we adopted as is. Yun po ang pinesent namin sa mga ating congressman.
But Mr. Chair, it was already included in the NEP. Paano mawawala yun?
Ang nangyari po, Mr. Chair, ganito, nung paglabas po ng General Appropriations Bill, yung 19.7 naging 24.7 billion, pero yung 14.7 billion nagkaroon po ng Annex A. In other words, these are the projects identified by the various congressmen. So, yung aming 15.1 nawala. So, since nawala siya, ang una namin ginawa, yung lahat ng may malalaking allocation na 100 million pataas, yun ang una namin kinat para ma-allocate sa mga maliliit. So, yung aming 15.1 at the time naging 5.8 billion na lamang, lumiit po ng husto.
So, Mr. Chair, in short, you took it upon yourself to cut the budget without notifying the congressman. Sabi mo kanina, may mga identification mga congressmen. You took it upon yourself, being the head of the SIF, to cut the budgets of the different proposed school buildings. Ganun ba?
That was because there's no more budget in the general appropriations bill. We had to cut for that. Everybody will also be allocated.
So how did you decide, Mr. Chair, kung anong kapuputuli, anong tatanggalin doon, anong bibigyan?
Well, ang decision lang muna is tanggalin yung mga malalaki, which is yung mga 100 million pataas, 80 million taas. Because, Mr. Chair, as I already mentioned, the policy was really to go multi-story. Kasi wala na pong buildable space, kaya medyo malalaki po yung ating building ngayon to maximize buildable space. So, yun po ang nauna. Yung mga 100 million pataas, 80 million pataas. So, yung natira mga 50, 40 million,
Ayun
two-story,
nga, tinanggal
three-story.
ninyo eh. Yung multi-story, tinanggal ninyo dun sa district ko, Mr. Chair. Yun ang tinanggal ninyo.
Well,
And not only that, there was also a 200 million peso project in District 1 na tinanggal din ninyo.
Hindi ako familiar in detail, pero I don't remember there's a 200 million school building in any school for that matter.
You know what, Mr. Chair? I'll give you an explanation bakit ninyo tinanggal. Do you know a certain Mr. Greg Murillo?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
Sabi ko kanina, Mr. Chair, the 180 million pesos was already included in the National Expenditure Program. But upon bidding, it was recalled. But prior to the bidding, this Mr. Greg Murillo, who's a close friend of Mr. Dinsing, called me. At ito ang sinabi niya, kamusta po kayo, Congressman? Sabi ko, mabuti naman. Congressman, meron po lang kayong budget na 170 million pesos para sa district mo. O sabi ko, yun nga, naka-schedule na for bidding. In fact, binibidding na yata. Sir, pwede daw muna, mag-usap daw muna kayo ni Mr. Dinsing. Those exactly the words of him, pwede tayo magharap-harap tayo, baka naman pwede makipagkita ka kay Mr. Dinsing. And sabi ko, para saan? Alam mo na, may pag-uusapan kayo. Right there and then, I already knew anong pag-uusapan. Si Mr. Dinsing hihingi ng komisyon. So, I told Mr. Greg Murillo, whom you admitted is your good friend, sinabi ko doon kay Mr. Murillo, why will I give money to Mr. Dinsing when this has already been allocated in the National Expenditure Program? So, I did not entertain that anymore. And Mr. Chair, lo and behold, the funds did not come through. Kinancel yung bidding and then nawala na nga because I did not come across to the request of Mr. Dinsing na humingi siya ng komisyon. And not only that, Mr. Dinsing, hindi lang akong biktima niyan. Marami pong mga congressmen, and for the record, I want to put it in record, maraming mga congressmen na nagsabi din sa akin that you approach them. In fact, there is one congressman in Visayas that you were asking for 18% commission of the school buildings. Kasi ikaw nga ang nagdidesisyon kung sinong bibigyan, sino ang tatanggalan. In fact, it is on record. You just said kanina na ikaw ang nagdesisyon kung sinong tatanggalan, sinong bibigyan. Not only that, sometime last year or probably within this year, you met with some of the congressmen in Manila. I already talked to them. Humarap ka doon, may kasama ka pang contractor. Do you know a certain architect, Ralph Texon?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Yung po ang kasama mo nung humarap ka sa congressmen sa Manila. And just the same, you were implying, you were asking for a commission, hindi lang yun, sinabi mo pa na yung contractor mong gagawa, itong si Mr. Architect Ralph Texon. And that is the reason why, Mr. Chair, tinanggal si Mr. Dinsing sa DepEd. He did not resign. I knew from the very beginning that he will be taken out because there were already anomalies in the distribution and the allocation of school buildings program. In fact, Mr. Chair, nung pag-alis niya sa DepEd, may isa pang inipit na 34 million pesos sa Bislig Central Elementary School, which is in my district. Now, I will not mention anymore the name. One official of the new administration sa DepEd called me. Ano ang sabi sa akin, Mr. Densing? Kung meron ka bang project na 34 million sa Bislig Central Elementary? Sabi ko, meron. Ano, nakabidding na? Hindi, ini-stop nga eh. Sir, ito, ilalabas na ho namin. Inipit ho ni Mr. Densing. And that is the reason why, Mr. Chair, this person was taken out of DepEd because of his anomalous practices in DepEd. Yun po ang katotohanan niyan. Nakiusap ka pa na ma-retain ka pero hindi na tinanggap ni Senator Sani Angara, and that's good for DepEd because you have been doing the rounds para ka nagbebenta ng isda. Inaalok mo sa lahat ng congressmen ang allocation ng school buildings asking for a commission.
Mr. Chair, may I now respond?
Yes, please.
Well, first of all,
respond.
it's a blatant lie asking for commission. And that's the very reason I'm process-oriented.
Sasabihin mo, Mr. Chair,
Process-oriented po ako, Mr.
ang mga
Chair.
congressmen, gusto mo mag-executive session tayo, ipapakita ko sa iyo mga congressmen.
Sige, wala akong nakausap. Yung sa Manila nyo,
You
I
are
was
lying.
never with
You are lying,
Architect
Mr.
Texon.
Densing.
Order,
I
please.
can cite you for
1 minute.
Mr. Chair.
Suspension is
Mr. Chair.
declared by the chair. Hearing resumes.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Johnny Pimentel.
it would be useless for this representation to ask further questions to the resource person because he's a pathological liar. What I will do, Mr. Chair, is gather more evidences to prove that what I am saying is true, that Mr. Ipimako Densing is a very corrupt person. He is a kalawag in the public service. He has been asking commissions for the release of funds for the school buildings. Papatunayan ko po yan sa next hearing. I'll gather more informations. Ito pa lang sasabihin ko sa iyo, Mr. Densing. Dapat huwag ka nang bumalik sa gobyerno. The government does not need your kind. You are a very corrupt person making your position to your advantage. Yun lang po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We will now proceed to the next interpellator. The Honorable Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Dong Gonzales.
Inom muna tayong tubig, medyo... Anyway, magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat. Nakita ko lang po itong mga dokumento. Nandito ba si Yusek Sevilla? Hi, ma'am. Good morning po. Good afternoon po. So, pangilang secretary na po sa DepEd ito? At ilang taon na po kayo sa DepEd?
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair. Your Honor, I have been with the Department of Education for more than 8 years, and I have served for 3 secretaries already.
So, who are those 3 secretaries, ma'am?
Your Honor, the first one is Secretary Liling Briones. The second one is BP Sara Duterte, and recent po ngayon si Secretary Sani Angara.
So, are you the USEC for Finance, if I'm not mistaken, ma'am?
Yes, that's true po, Your Honor.
So, bilang Undersecretary for Finance, so sir, you're one of the crafting of the budget of the Department of Education at tumutulong po kayo sa fiscal year na dumarating. So, tama ho yun, USEC?
Yes, Your Honor, that's true.
Well, nakita ko lang po dito, Madam Yusek, kung maari po, kanino po kayo nakikipag-coordinate pag piniprepare niyo yung budget?
Your Honor, for the budget proposal, ang una po nating iintayin is the budget call of the Department of Budget and Management. So mag-i-issue po sila ng priorities, programs ng ating national government. Kasama na po doon yung mga templates, forms, conditions, criteria. And then, yun po ay gagawin natin internally sa DepEd para ma-orient po lahat ng opisina natin na ito yung magiging trust or ito yung direction ng national government. So, within DepEd, nakipag-coordinate po kami sa colleagues or undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, regional directors para po pag nagawa tayo ng budget proposal, ito po ay talagang galing doon sa pangangailangan ng opisina.
And proposing amount per line item, of course, you have the basis, the expenditure of the preceding fiscal year. Yun po ang palakad ng ating departamento. Tama ho ba yun?
Kasama po sa budget call ng Department of Budget and Management yung tinatawag na Tier 1. Tier 1, ibig sabihin, i-continue nyo yung operation ng na lagi pong kailangan ng ahensya. So Tier 1 po yung mga regular programs. Tama po, Your Honor.
Madam Yusek, during the preparation of your budget, like for example, so to speak, this fiscal year 2023, did you propose a line item on confidential funds, ma'am?
For 2023, we submitted in 2022. Ang submission po natin officially is May of 2022. So, wala po doon sa proposal namin yung confidential fund.
So, kailan po nyo na ipasok yung confidential funds?
Your Honor, technically, submitted na po yung proposal ng 2023 by May. And then pagdating ng July, August, may bagong administration. So ang DBM po ay sumulat sa atin to confirm yung proposal na sinabmit nung May. Now, nung pong sinabmit namin yung proposal for 2023 in August, wala naman pong nakalagay na linya na confidential funds sa proposal, pero nung lumabas po yung NEP, National Expenditure Program, meron na pong nakalagay doon na confidential expense at 150 million.
So Yusek, do you confirm that was the first time that DepEd proposed an item of confidential funds, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor. First time po sa Department of Education na magkaroon ng confidential
So kailan po yun naipasok? That was 2023?
National Expenditure Program, NEP 2023 po.
So how the amount determined? Paano yung determine? At paano nyo nilalagay sa line item? Did you enter in the budget of DepEd? And then what's the cost of this insertion, ma'am? Ano ang formula to put it as a line item of DCF?
Respectfully, Your Honor, I would like to defer to DBM, to the Department of Budget and Management, kasi sila na po yung nagpasok nung line item na confidential funds sa NEP, if I may, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, I know that this point has been repeated over and over again, but I invite everyone to another angle here. The amount of confidential funds that the DepEd would have appears to have been arbitrarily set, and would appear that it was arbitrarily set by the former Secretary and now Vice President. Ma'am, as a USEC for Finance, what was your involvement with respect to the confidential funds of Department of Education?
When it was already, Your Honor, when it was already included in the GAA of 2023, our role will be to process and release the fund in compliance with the joint circular on the confidential fund.
So in your recollection, ma'am, in the year 2023, how many checks did you sign for the confidential fund?
Per the provision of the joint circular, allowed po kami na mag-issue ng cash advance for 3 months. So per quarter. At 3 po yung cheque na na-issue po namin for the first, second, and third quarters of 2023, Your
So
Honor.
meaning to say 12 months divided by 4, that is equivalent to 3 months.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tatlong tig 37.5 yung in-issue niyo po.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, ilang signatories po sa cheque ang pumipirma? Pag yung cheque for the CF, Madam Yusek.
The same with regular funds po, ang template ng ating cheque ay 2 ang magsasign. Sa Department of Education, meron po tayong signing authority. Kapag po 10 million and below, ako po at saka yung aming accountant or the finance director. Pag 10 million and up po, ako po or any other undersecretary can sign the check po.
Tama po ba na kasama si Yusek Mercado sa pagpirma ng cheque?
Yes, Your Honor. Siya po yung co-signatory doon sa 3 cheque po for the confidential fund.
Thank you po. Isa-isayin lang po natin itong mga cheque. Ito yung cheque na pinirmahan po ni Yusek Mercado para sa first quarter ng 2023. Tama ba ito yung unang 37.5 million ng confidential funds at ito ay na-issue sa pangalan ni Mr. Edward Paharda. Tama po ba? Nasa screen po yata. Tama po ba, Madam Yusek? Pakitingnan
February
po yung-
20, 2023, opo, sa pangalan po ng Special Disbursing Officer Edward Fajarda.
So that was February 20, 2023.
Opo.
Ang cheque na ito ay may corresponding disbursement voucher, tama?
Meron po, Your Honor.
At ikaw rin ang signatory ng disbursement voucher na ito, tama ho ba, ma'am?
Sa disbursement voucher po, marami pong nakasign. Yung pong nagre-request, ang una. Susunod po yung accountant para sabihin na kumpleto yung supporting documents sa hinihingi na babayaran or i-disburse. At pangatlo po ako, yung approval po, dahil sa level ko po itong 37.5 million, Your Honor.
So meaning talagang dadaan po yan sa accounting.
Yes po.
Ang check na ito ay corresponding disbursement voucher at ito rin ang mga signatory sa disbursement voucher at ito'y nagkakalaman ng presyo ng 37.5 million. Tama ho ba, Madam Chair?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Yusek, I am a little confused. I do not see where it is disbursement voucher. It states na para sa confidential fund, ang nakalagay po dito ay MOOE, which means maintenance and other operating expenses, na para po ba sa kaalaman ng ating mga kababayan ay category of expenditures relating to operations of government agencies such as expenses for supplies and materials, transportation and travel, utilities. Related po ito sa regular funds at hindi sa confidential funds. Tama ho ba?
Your Honor, yung pong disbursement voucher ay ginagawa ng mga end user or ang ibig sabihin kung sino po yung magre-request ng magpa-issue ng cheque. So yung pong particulars dito would be supplied by the end user. But nakita naman po namin when it went to the accounting, kahit hindi po nakalagay na confidential fund, nakalagay naman po doon yung reference ng kung nasaan yung confidential fund. For example, Your Honor, makikita po dito sa third line, under page 376 of RA 11936, yun po yung GA 2023. Saka yung section 85 ng General Provision, pag tinignan po yun, nakalagay po doon, confidential fund.
Can you please define the Fund 101, Fund 102, and Fund 105, ma'am?
Fund 101 are funds for the regular operation of the department po. So, ibig sabihin, ito po yung pondo na pwede nating gamitin para sa regular operation at programa ng agency. Yung Fund 102 po ay pang foreign assisted projects. So, pag meron po mga loans or proceeds na nanggagaling sa mga bilateral or multilateral sources, yun po yung 102. Meron din pong trust receipts at ito po yung 151 or 152. Yun po yung classification ng mga pondo.
So meaning to say, yung ginawa nating voucher is under Fund 101.
Yes, sir. Opo, this is Fund 101.
Yusek, ito kung nakabase sa Fund 101 at this is a confidential fund, paano process ito? May magsasabi ba sa'yo, Yusek Sevilla, please prepare the voucher and lagay mo ang i-payable natin kay Mr. Paharda, Edward Paharda. Paano nyo ba nag-emanate itong voucher? How did it start? May nagbibigay ng instruction from other USEC or sa secretary mismo?
Opo po. For the confidential fund, talaga po ang sinusunod namin yung joint circular. Nakalagay din po sa joint circular yung steps kung paano ilalabas yung pera or i-disburse yung pera. So magsisimula po, Your Honor, on the identification of the SDO or the Special Disbursing Officer. So meron po dapat na pirmado, authorized by the head of the agency na siya yung ina-identify na Special Disbursing Officer. So we were informed of that through a memo. Second is, kailangan po naka-banded or mag-apply ng fidelity bond yung ating Special Disbursing Officer. So meron din pong application, yung SDO, at approved din po ito ng Bureau of Treasury. Yung po yung susunod na hahanapin namin. And then susunod po would be the obligation request. Ibig sabihin magpapa-obligate siya, magpapa-release. And then ito pong disbursement voucher. So lahat po yun would be signed by the head of the agency as indicated po dito sa ating joint circular.
So tama ho. I agree that pag gagawin nyo yan, si Mr. Edward Fajarda nakapangalan sa PAYE, pero kayo ang magpapa-approve and of course signed by the Secretary and of course the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Sara Duterte, Vice President Sara Duterte. So, pagkatapos po dito ma-approve, si Mr. Edward Fajarda ho ba ang nagkiklaim sa cashier to get the check?
I think, Your Honor, kung babalik po natin doon sa disbursement voucher, if I may request, Your Honor, you can see that at the bottom, sa bottom po niyan, meron pong receipt of payment. Ayun po, sige pa po. Receipt of
Sino ang nakatanggap?
Ayun.
Kasi signature lang po yan, walang
kay
pangalan.
Sir Edward Pajarda po yan, kailangan niyang i-sign na natanggap na po niya yung check.
So siya ang nakatanggap ng cheque.
Opo.
And then si Mr. Pajarda, pagkatanggap ng cheque, hindi siya mag-issue ng resibo?
Hindi na po, Your Honor, kasi ito na po yung proof na natanggap niya yung cheque as cash advance. Tapos hawak niya ang cheque, siya na po ang magpapa-encash po dito.
Mr. Pajarda, siya ang SDO natin. Siya ang Special Disbursing Officer po natin. Tama po ba?
Your Honor, siya po ang authorized SDO po natin.
Okay. And then, Mr. Pajarda, pagkakuha ng cheque, dadali niya yung cheque sa land bank. Land bank check po yan, di ba?
Opo, but ang finance po kasi magtatapos na po sa disbursement voucher pag nakuha na po yung cheque, pupunta na po ito sa cash.
Kaya nga, ang tinatanong ko po yung cashier, kung anong checking gagamitin niya. Kung gagamitin DBP, land bank, dalawa po yan, di ba? Land bank po siguro yan. Anong cheque po ginamit?
Opo, land bank check po kami, yun po ang bank account ng DepEd.
So meaning to say, land bank po yung ginamit, worth 37.5. At yung 37.5 na yun, dadali ni Mr. Pajarda sa land bank. So paano pa niya ho pinapa-incas ito? Binibigay siyempre, cash yan, papa-incas po yung cheque sa counter ng land bank, ibibigay niya yan, cash, di ba? Madam Chair?
Yes, Your
Madam
Honor.
Yusek, sorry. Yeah.
Opo, yes, Honor. The records will show under the cash division na ito rin po ay na-encash.
So, na-encash.
Opo.
So, andyan ho ba si Mr. Pajarda? Si Mr. Pajarda? Si Mr. Edward Pajarda, nandito ba?
Not present. Not present.
Not present? Hindi ba tayo nagpadala ng invitation po kay Mr. Pajarda?
Your Honor, invitation was sent. Committee also issued a subpoena ad testificandum to compel his appearance in the next hearing, Your Honor.
Kasi siya makakasagot sa tanong ko eh. Pag halimbawang pina-encash niya yung cheque, siyempre tatanggapin niya yung 37.5, papirma ng bangko. Medyo mabigat-bigat po to, 37.5 million. Kailangan may kasama siya. At I went in DepEd building already, how many times, wala naman pong elevator yung DepEd office nyo, di ba? Agdan lang po, di ba? Wala namang elevator. So, paano nyo kinakarga yung 37.5 million? Saan niya dinadala? May office ba sa DepEd si Mr. Pajarda?
Opo, may opisina po siya, executive assistant po siya under the office of the secretary, but I wouldn't know po the circumstances after po ng issuance ng check ng finance. So, hindi ko po, apologies po, hindi ko ba ko-confirm or masasagot kung paano po to na-encash o nadadala.
So, medyo mabigat-bigat po to kung 3 beses kayo nag-issue ng 37.5 at 3 cheque, 3 beses niya kinargaan yung 37.5 million from land bank, from his office in DepEd, dumadaan siya ng hagdan. Tama po ba, Madam Yusek?
Your Honor, hindi ko
Hindi
po,
nyo ma-confirm
hindi
kasi
ko
wala
ma-confirm,
si-
Your Honor po. Pasensya na po.
Well, anyway, at least po, itong 3 cheque, 3 voucher, signed by the Secretary, signed by the 2 USECs, yung voucher at pinirmahan po itong cheque, ay katunayan po at natanggap po itong 37.5 times 3, that is equivalent to 112.5 million total ang natanggap na 3 cheque ni Mr. Pajarda. So, Madam Sibilia, sa pagkaintindi ko, sa sort of programs being done in confidential funds came in, and the difference, the difference before was that the military that was administering the program, am I correct? Ang military po ang binibigay ni Mr. Pajarda sa mga military para sa mga programa ng ating ibang programa ng DepEd?
Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, I have no knowledge on the utilization of the fund kasi hindi po talaga kasama na ang finance sa pag-utilize. In fact, pati po yung liquidation at saka reporting, hindi po yan pupunta sa DepEd. Wala pong record na makikita sa accounting or budget on the utilization or liquidation. Ang bibigay po sa amin para makuha yung susunod na tranche ng cheque is the proof na nasubmit ang report sa Commission on Audit na ICFAO, yung pong sa opisina nila. Ang ibibigay po sa amin would be the cover letter na na-receive ng ICFAO, yung utilization report and the liquidation. Pag po nabigyan kami ng kopya na yon, pwede nang i-process yung susunod na tranches po, Your Honor.
So if there is a specific department under the Department of Education that is in charge with expenditure confidential funds, how about the operations department? May alam po ba kayo doon? Sa confidential funds, kung kanino nila, sino ang USEC of operations ng fiscal year 2023 para doon sa confidential funds at kanino nila binibigay?
I honestly do not know how to answer that, Your Honor. Kung USEC for operation ng regular mandate ng DepEd, may USEC po for operation. Pero kung who is in charge of the operations for the confidential fund, hindi po yan, hindi kami aware or hindi yan dinidiscuss sa amin sa regular meetings ng mga undersecretaries.
Ma'am, are you familiar with the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or the NTF-LCAC? Party po ba ng NTF-LCAC ang DepEd? Tama po ba, Madam Yusek? And this NTF-LCAC has been existing since 2018? Tama po ba, Madam Yusek?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm aware of the NTF-LCAC because may kasama pong pondo yan sa GAA. Doon ko po siya na-encounter. I am also aware during the time of Secretary Liling Briones, I member po siya ng NTF-LCAC. And I remember, including our former VP Secretary, I am just confirming from our Chief of Staff before, yes po, kasama daw po ang DepEd sa NTF-LCAC din.
Sa pagkakaalam nyo, Yusek, ano ang role ng NTF-LCAC? Hindi po ba ito ang related doon sa 4 na programa ng kung saan ginagamit ang confidential fund ng DepEd? Madam Chair? Madam Yusek, sorry.
Your Honor, as far as yung pong budget ng DepEd na regular is concerned, wala po kaming ginagastos for NTF-LCAC. Yun po ang pwede kong masagot. Pero kung ano po yung role ng DepEd Secretary sa NTF-LCAC, hindi po kasi ako involved. I was never called or present in any meeting na dinidiscuss po ang NTF-LCAC matters.
Kung alam niyo po yung programa sa DepEd, and it was organizing and coordinating the execution of the project, what department under Department Ed po itong nag-execute dito?
Okay. This is how I understand the question, Your Honor. NTF-LCAC, participation of DepEd in the NTF-LCAC is through the Office of the Secretary only. So baka po mas relevant po na magbigay ng inputs yung ating former Chief of Staff kasi sila po ang uma-attend ng NTF-LCAC, Your Honor.
Madam Yusek, the matter of confidential funds has garnered a lot of attention these days, especially the unprecedented inclusion of confidential funds sa DepEd. Ayon sa impormasyon po na nakalap namin, itong mga confidential funds ay ginamit po for 4 programs. Number 1, the abuse, prevention, and control within schools. Number 2, the anti-extremism, terrorism program. Number 3, the anti-illegal activities operations. And number 4, the counter-insurgency programs. And party po ito ang mga programa na binibigyan ng training ang mga teacher at estudyante para i-combat ang recruitment ng extremist or terrorist group of recruitment. Tama ba, Madam Chair?
SDS.
Yes.
Mr. Po would like to, I think, answer that question.
Mr. Chair, thank you, if I may be recognized. I was the Chief of Staff, Undersecretary and Chief of Staff of the Vice President that time, but I only started kasi April 1 po, 2023. So, on the question on NTF-LCAC, kasi kahit po ako, or I'm not involved in the operations mismo of the confidential funds. So, I have no details on that. But on the NTF-LCAC, I would remember that one project, at least that of my personal knowledge, is we had a joint press conference with NTF-LCAC po sa DepEd regarding yung mga programa nila against anti-extremism, insurgency. At least, to the best of my knowledge, yun po yung isang naging proyekto with NTF-LCAC. Nag-joint press con po kami. At that time, I was still spokesperson. Opo. Just to add to the ano po. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poa. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I just continue. So, Madam Yusek, Mr. Chairman, so ibig sabihin, yung 37.5, pag gumagawa ko kayo ng cheque, ng voucher, meron pong particulars na nakatouch yan. Yan ba, puro voucher lang po yan and you will type it na pay Mr. Paharda? Wala akong attachment ho yan?
Yes, Your Honor. We are compliant with the joint circular. Sa amin po, ang naka-attach lang would be the authority, kung sino po yung special disbursing officer. Second is the obligation request. Third is the disbursement voucher. At yung pong certification na nasubmit na yung report sa COA, yun lang po.
Ano po yung
ang kailangan
circular na sinasabi nyo? Hindi ko po masyadong alam.
Yun po yung joint circular on the release, utilization, monitoring, liquidation, reporting, accountability of the confidential and intelligence fund. The Civil Commission on Audit, DBM, DILG, GCC, GCG, Department of National Defense, Joint Circular Number 2015-01, Your Honor.
So, yun po. So, ang mga payables po nyo, ginagamit nyo talaga cheque. Paano nyo ginagamit yung mga cheque nyo? Sa MOOE lang? Sa accounts payables? Paano nyo ginagamit yung mga check for paying other suppliers or paano mga payroll? Paano nyo ginagamit yung mga check?
Yes. Tama po, Your Honor. The checks are used for all programs and projects and activities. So, pwede pong MOE, pwede rin pong payroll sa sweldo, pwede po sa supplier, pwede sa contractor. In this case, kasi po nakalagay sa joint circular na ang confidential fund should be in the form of cash advance.
Yeah.
So, pag cash advance, cheque po talaga ang dapat na ilabas under the name of the authorized special disbursing officer. So, yun po yung procedure na sinusunod namin based on the COA policy.
Sinabi nyo na po ba yung mga attachment ng 37.5 kung saan ginamit yun?
Wala po kaming copy noon, Your Honor. Ang magre-report po kung saan siya ginamit would be the special disbursing officer and the head of agency. At ito po ay sinasubmit sa COA chairman through the ICPAO. Yun po yung opisina.
So, ang talagang makakasagot dito is Mr. Paharda.
Yes, Your
Kasi
Honor.
siyang disbursement officer. Tama ho ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Well, di ba, pag nagbabayad tayo sa gobyerno, meron tayong tinatawag na ADA, meron tayong tinatawag na LDAP, LDDAP, meaning to say, List of Due and Demandable Accounts Payable, or the Advice to Debt Account. Hindi ho pwedeng i-apply yan na i-deposit mo na lang as ADA yung 37.5 million, bakit cheque pa ginagamit natin?
Your Honor, that will not be compliant with the joint circular because the joint circular specifically provided under Section 6 of Joint Circular 2015-01, the grant of the confidential fund is only through cash advance. So hindi po pwede ang ADA, hindi rin po pwede yung list of due and demandable accounts payable, only through check po, Your
So
Honor.
talagang cash po talaga yan kasi cash advance.
Cash po talaga, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Chairman, that's all. And the summary of my interpellation, Yusek Sevilla prepare a check, prepare the voucher, and sign the check by Yusek Sevilla and Yusek Mercado, and received by a certain the DSDO, Mr. Paharda. And Mr. Paharda is the one who encashed the check from Land Bank and kinuha niya yung pera. At Mr. Chairman, yung 37.5, ewan ko, ikaw, kung kaya bang buhatin yun, from the Land Bank, alam ko may Land Bank office sa baba ng DepEd, bubuhatin mo yun sa opisina ni Mr. Paharda. So, I don't know, kaya gusto ko hong invite Mr. Chairman, si Mr. Paharda, kung paano niya binuhat itong 37.5 million ng 3 beses na na-issue ni Miss Annalyn Sevilla, ang ating Undersecretary, at ang ating former Undersecretary na si Miss Mercado. So on that note, Mr. Chair, malinaw po na ginawa po yung 3 voucher at saka 3 cheque ni Yusek Sevilla at Yusek Mercado, and then encashed by Mr. Paharda. So yun lang po. Maraming salamat po.
Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you, SDS. Yes,
I
with
would
the
like
indulgence of
to make
Congressman
a
Benny Abante.
motion that we invite on the next hearing Mr. Edward Paharda.
We already
So moved.
issued a subpoena at testificandum. Yes. Yeah. It was subject of motion a while ago. So we have already issued the subpoena at testificandum to Mr. Fajarda
To appear before this committee.
to appear. If in the event na hindi po siya umattend, we will be constrained to issue a contempt order to Mr. Fajarda. Next to interpolate, Congressman Luistro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My questions are for Major General Nolasco A. Mempin. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your Honor.
You are the former Undersecretary for Administration of the Department of Education. That was during the stint of former Secretary, Vice President Sara Duterte. Do you confirm?
Major General,
Major General, former Major General Nolasco,
Nolasco, you're recognized by
Mempin.
the chair.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair?
Please answer the question of Congresswoman Luistro.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you confirm having been appointed as Undersecretary for Administration of DepEd. That was during the time of former Secretary, Vice President Sara Duterte. Let us go back to your career in the AFP, General Mempin.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Back in 2017, nasan po ba kayo, General Mempin?
In 2017, ma'am, initially I was assigned in 10th Infantry Division as the Chief of the Governance and Strategy Management Office, effective January 2017. Then by August of same year, I was designated as the commander of Task Force Davao in Davao City, Mr. Chair.
So the first appointment in 2017 was at the 10th Infantry Division.
Correct, Your Honor.
Pag sinabi po ba natin General Mempin, 10th Infantry Division, what areas are covered?
The 10th Infantry Aguila Division covers whole of Region 11 and part of Region 12, part of Region 10, and part of Region 13, Caraga, Your Honor.
And can you please cite some of the big provinces which are under these regions, General Mempin?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, for Region 11, it covers Davao City, Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao Occidental, and Davao Oriental. It also includes parts of Bukidnon, but greater part of Bukidnon is under 4th Infantry Division and part of North Cotabato, ma'am.
And for Region 12, General Mempin?
Region 12 is a part of Cotabato, ma'am.
And Region 13?
Region 13 is part of Agusan Sur and a part of Surigao del Sur, ma'am.
Can you please be specific about the inclusive period when you were the commander of the 10th Infantry Division, which covers regions 11, 12, and 13?
I was designated as commander of the 10th Infantry Division in February of 2022 until my retirement in January 28, 2023, ma'am. Your Honor and
Earlier,
Mr. Chair.
you mentioned about 2017, and you were likewise at the 10th Infantry Division. What specific assignment do you have during that time?
From 2017, ma'am, I was assigned as the commander of Task Force Davao, in charge of covering, actually it only covers the downtown Davao, in charge of the anti-terrorism unit of the armed forces because of the series of bombing. Because Task Force Davao was established in 2003. Then after that, in 2019, I was, after my stint at the Task Force Davao, I was designated as the commander of the 1003rd Infantry Brigade, covering parts of Davao region, specifically Davao del Norte, parts of Davao Oriental, parts of the northern or the mountainous area of Davao City, and then some parts of Bukidnon and some parts of North Cotabato, ma'am.
So would it be correct to say 2017, General Mempin, you were heading the Task Force Davao, primarily in charge with Davao City and the major parts of the Davao region. Do you confirm that?
Ma'am, for clarification, Mr. Chair, during my stint as Task Force Davao, it only covers the downtown because Davao City is divided into 3 areas. It has the downtown, midtown, and the uptown. The midtown is the downtown is the central district. Then midtown and uptown are those areas.
So which part are you in charge with?
For 2017, ma'am, 2017 until
Midtown?
2019 in
Uptown or downtown?
Downtown during task
You
force.
are in charge of downtown in 2017
Until
as the head of Task
Task
Force
Force.
Davao.
Correct, ma'am.
And then
Your Honor.
sometime in 2019, you became in charge of the 10th Infantry Brigade covering most parts of the Davao region.
Not yet, ma'am. 2019, I was designated as the brigade commander. Brigade commander is under the 10th Infantry Division still, covering Davao, some parts of Davao region, specifically Davao del Norte, Davao Oriental, and not Davao Oriental, Davao del Norte.
Yes,
part
General,
of Davao
you have
City.
stated that
Yes, ma'am.
already. And then for 2022, this is the time that you were in charge of the 10th Infantry Division covering the regions 11, 12, and 13.
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And of course, I just wish to manifest that during this time, 2017 to 2022, the president was former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And for Davao City, the mayor during that time was our Vice President, Sara Duterte.
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And considering that you are taking care of the regions, the provinces, and the city, which are considered the hometown of the President, may I know, was there any marching order coming from the President having assigned to those places?
Actually, because as member of the armed forces, our main objective is to ensure to protect the people and secure the territory for our sovereignty. So basically for the Army or the 10th Infantry Aguila Division, our focus is on insurgency problem. While in Davao City, during my stint as Task Force Davao Commander, is for the extreme terrorism, like bombing of the extreme
With all due
terrorists.
respect, General Mempin, I hope you will be responsive to the question because Davao, of course, is the place of the former president. So this representation is interested whether in your assignment in 2017, 2019, and 2022, all pertaining to the Davao region, mayroon po bang specific na marching order ang presidente, considering that these places are his home places?
I have not received any specific instructions, but
Thank you, General Mempin. I think you have answered the question already.
Thank you, Your Honor.
How
Mr.
about
Chair.
any marching order from the Vice President during your stint as Task Force Davao head?
The only instruction that I received during our assumption or during my assumption as Task Force Davao Commander is to have zero bombing incident, because he said if there's a bombing incident in Davao City, then you failed your mission as Commander of Task Force Davao. So zero bombing, that's the specific instructions of former Mayor Sara Duterte.
I wish to remind you of the article which was published in Saan Star. Ang sabi po ng ating Vice Presidente noon ay City Mayor, kayo po ang head ng Task Force Davao. Don't sleep, don't breathe, don't embarrass me. Do you confirm that?
That's correct. I still have the newspaper on that, ma'am.
Now, please enlighten us, walk us through. During the time that you were assigned in Davao City and the rest of the other areas of the Davao region, how will you describe the peace and order situation in Davao?
In Davao City, ma'am, actually, when I first arrived, because I was also assigned in Davao region for a short stint in 2008, the first thing that I noticed in Davao...
With all due respect, Mr. Chair, let us remind our resource speaker to be responsive to the question. We are asking General Mempin about the status of Davao with respect to the peace and order situation during your time as the head of Task Force Davao. I think that is 2017 until 2019.
For the Davao, downtown Davao, ma'am, it is very peaceful, but still the threat of terrorism is there. So the existence of Task Force Davao is still
In the scale
needed.
of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how peaceful is Davao?
10, ma'am, because up to now, no
10.
incident of terrorism.
So that confirms the description of Colonel Garma in one of our hearings that Davao is one of the most livable city in the Philippines. You agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And of course, you're one of the reasons why you are able to maintain, or you were able to maintain, such level of peace and order in Davao City because you were the one in charge, the partner of the LGU. May we ask, General Mempin, ano po ba ang mga programang ginawa ninyo sa Davao City to be able to achieve the level 10, the highest score in terms of peace and order that you just gave to Davao City?
To be candid about it, ma'am, actually, I just continue what my predecessors have done, because when I assumed in 2017,
General Mempin, kindly focus on the programs. Ano po yung programs na inyong in-implement?
number one, ma'am, is continued collaboration with various stakeholders, particularly with the Muslim communities in Davao City, to ensure that there will no slippage of probable or would-be bombing incident in Davao City, ma'am.
Any other programs, General Mempin?
Of course, continue information awareness to all the residents, or not only residents, but people visiting Davao. Because right now, the term right now is culture of security, where security is everybody's concern, and not only of the security units like the AAP and the Philippine National Police, ma'am.
I assume, General Mempin, that you were able to implement a lot of programs for you to be able to achieve that level 10 peace and order situation. So aside from the collaboration with Muslim communities and the information awareness dissemination, can you please cite more programs which you recall were very significant in your achievement of the level 10 peace and order in Davao City?
Yes, ma'am. Number one is collaboration, information awareness, then continued meetings with or exchange of information with intelligence units or security units in Davao. Continued collaboration with the business sector, because they are the one who needs to be convinced that Davao is safe for the investment to stay in Davao or increase of it. Then, of course, you continued presence, because actually the word do not sleep. We continue patrols in Davao City, mobile, fixed checkpoint in Davao Airport, and even business establishment when there are major engagement. Task Force Davao is always present. And of course, we continue to make our personnel professional, because whatever programs you have, if the people, meaning our soldiers, is not professional in handling, like for example, we always conduct checkpoint operations, and we always ask indulgence of the inconvenience that we have caused to the passenger and into the drivers entering Davao City. So that's all part of our programs to ensure that everybody is cooperating to ensure that no bombing incident will occur in Davao City.
I wish to make a recap of what you said, General Mempin. You mentioned collaboration with Muslim communities, information, awareness, and dissemination to all residents, meetings with other intelligence units, collaboration with business and other sectors, presence of patrols, and presence with all other professionals to make sure that no bombing incident will happen in Davao City. You confirm that?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And these
Mr.
are
Chair.
the reasons why you were able to achieve the level 10, the highest score for the peace and order situation in Davao City. You confirm?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And I must say, Mr. Chair, General Mempin, na ito rin ang dahilan why I wish to conclude pinagtiwalaan ka ng noon ay City Mayor and now our Vice President, Sara Duterte.
Yes, Your Honor.
Level 10 score is something that I am sure you will be able to gain the trust and confidence of whoever is the local chief executive of the area to which you are assigned. You agree with me?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr.
Let's
Chair.
move forward, General Mempin. Kailan po kayo nag-retire sa AFP?
I retired last January 28, 2023. Your Honor.
January 28, 2023. And I understand you entered the Department of Education during the time of VP Sara Duterte. You confirm that?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
Can you
Chair.
please enlighten us? Ano pong appointment ang nabigay sa inyo during your time in DepEd?
First, ma'am, I was appointed as or recruited as consultant of Department of Education from April.
Can you please expound? Consultant on what matter?
I was a highly technical consultant because I came from the armed forces, and our former secretary and vice president consider me as an asset in collaboration or engaging the security sector.
And you believe, General Mempin, that it was your career in the AFP, which was considered by then Secretary of DepEd why you were hired as the highly technical consultant.
That's correct, Your Honor.
If you
Mr.
can
Chair.
still recall, General Mempin, ano po ba ang trabaho ng isang highly technical consultant as you were made to understand during that stint in the Department of Education?
When you become a highly consultant, meaning the unit or the agency could not have it on its own personnel. That's why they could engage or hire the services of a consultant, ma'am.
For the information of the Filipino people, General Mempin, please allow me to share the functions which were under your position as highly technical consultant. 1, provide high-level policy advice on topics agenda that are confidential in nature. 2, provide guidance, technical oversight, and expert advice to DepEd in the development of various programs in all levels of governance on safety and security. 3, engage and collaborate with other departments and security-related services. 4, submit monthly status to OSEC. And 5, perform other duties related thereto. Would you agree with me, General Mempin, that as highly technical consultant, your mandate is to make sure that the need to promote and ensure safety and security is well addressed?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
You confirm that.
Yes.
And having confirmed that, tama po bang isipin, you are the one in charge also of the confidential funds of the Department of Education?
That's not correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Then, General Mempin, if you're not the one in charge of this confidential fund, then who is or who was?
I was not aware of, because I only more on, because after April, May, when USEC for administration is open, I was again asked if I could, but I'm not part of the utilization or how the confidential fund
But you
is,
agree with me, General Mempin, lahat ng trabaho na ibinigay sa inyo, hindi nyo ito kayang isagawa without the necessary funding. And the funding that is allowed for these purposes is, of course, the confidential fund. Do you agree with me?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, but I have not received any instructions and also funds, for that matter, on in the performance or in the accomplishment of tasks given or mandate to me as the consultant, Your
In
Honor.
other words, General Mempin, while your job description as highly technical consultant pertains to safety and security, you have no access to confidential fund, and you did not give any instruction from the head of the agency. That is your statement. Do you confirm that?
Yes, Your Honor. I am not part of
Thank
the
you.
utilization.
Let us
of
move
computer.
forward, General Memphine. Kanina may na-mention po kayo. After some time, you were appointed as the USEC for Administration. Did you apply for this position?
No, ma'am. I was recruited by the former Secretary and Vice President.
Balikan ko po yung highly technical consultant. Of course, you expressed your desire because a notice of award was given to you to be the highly technical consultant. Aside from you, General Memphine, meron pa po bang iba na nag-express ng desire to be engaged as the highly technical consultant?
I'm not particularly aware of other consultant that express their willingness, but I do believe there are other consultant that the Office of the Secretary has tapped.
I understand. How about with respect to your appointment as USEC for Administration? You said you were chosen. You confirm that?
I was recruited, yes, ma'am.
You were recruited. Who recruited you to become the Undersecretary for Administration?
The former Secretary and Vice President Sara, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And would you know why? Bakit ikaw ang napusuan na bigyan at pagkalooban nitong pagiging Undersecretary for Administration ng Department of Education?
As to the reason, the actual reason behind it, I was not aware, but I can surmise the trust and confidence that she has on me.
That is
maybe
correct.
the reason, ma'am.
The trust and confidence that you were able to establish as head of Task Force Davao in 2017 and being the one in charge of the 10th Infantry Division in Regions 11, 12, and 13 were very significant, not only in your engagement as highly technical consultant, but in your appointment as well as Undersecretary for Administration of DepEd. We agree on that, General Memphine.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
As a matter of fact, to illustrate how the former secretary trusted you, may I ask, are you aware of Department Order number 78, General Memphine?
Yes, ma'am.
What is Department Order number 78?
It's about the procurement, ma'am.
With all due respect, dito po sa Department number 78, ibinibigay po ang mandato na pamunuan ang Department Computerization Program sa Program Director. You confirm this?
Yes, I stand corrected, ma'am. It's about,
In other
TOC.
words, since 2010, General Memphine, ang Department Computerization Program ay pinamumunuan ng Program Director. Ito po ang nakasaad sa Department Order number 78. But because the former secretary trusted you so much on this position of being the Undersecretary for Administration, the DepEd issued DO number 16, series of 2023. Would you like to enlighten us kung ano po itong DO16, series of 2023?
Actually, it's the revision of the Department Order 78, ma'am, Series 2010. It's actually revising the compositions of those for the procurement
To be
of...
specific, General Memphine, with all due respect, ano ho ang pinaka-significant na naging pagbabago in terms of the DepEd Computerization Program from DO78 to DO16?
It's not only the director who decides for the procurement of Department Computerization Program, ma'am.
For the information of the committee, General Memphine, it is clear that from DO number 16, the management of the department's computerization program was transferred from the program director to the undersecretary for administration, and that is you, General Memphine. That is how the former secretary trusted you. A policy which has long been existing for 13 long years, 2010, was suddenly changed, transferring the management of DepEd computerization program from the program director to the office of the undersecretary for administration. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I elaborate, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Please continue.
Actually, before the computerization program is, because actually we notice some issues in the DCP procurement, particularly in terms of the members. So, because there's a huge amount of money involved in the DepEd computerization program, so it was agreed through the executive committee as a collegial body to elevate the authority of deciding the DepEd computerization program from program director to but basically the program director is actively involved in the decision making.
I understand, General Memphine. Now let us go to the DepEd computerization program. Per fiscal year 2023, mayroon po kayong report. Ang sabi nyo, the delay and underperformance in procuring the ICT packages for 2023 were mainly due to the reconfiguration of the original specification and modifications of the package contents. You agree with this?
Yes.
Because this is in your report. But I wish to ask General Memphine, how come in your physical target versus accomplishment, kindly show on the screen, ito pong fiscal year 2023, this is your time as the one heading the DepEd computerization program, simultaneous with you being the Undersecretary for Administration. 0% po ang accomplishment ng DepEd computerization program. Can you please enlighten us on this?
Actually, ma'am, nandito po yung director ng ICTS, but to give you insight on the performance, because ma'am, when we arrived in DepEd 2023, actually, it's still the 2022 DCP programs being processed because of the delay during the 2022 because of the change of the administration. So actually, ma'am, late 2023 na po na process completely yung
May we know why,
DCP.
General Memphine? Of course, we understand from the records na yung 2023 budget, hindi nyo po na-utilize, and that is the reason kung bakit naka 0% ang accomplishment rate. May we know the reason why?
Because of the partly of the procurement process, because it has to go to the Bids and Awards Committee, and the members of the Bids and Awards Committee is still hands in full in terms of the DCP 2020.
But of course, you realize, General Memphine, the value of this DepEd computerization program with respect to the learning of the students who are supposedly relying on this. Tama po ba?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
And to
Chair.
complete the picture, General Memphine, I wish to share to the committee, mayroon po kayong na-procure 44,638 ICT packages and DepEd packages sa taong 2022 and 2023, ngunit ayon sa annual audit report ng COA, ang na-deliver nyo lang is 16,580. This is not even one half of what is supposed to be delivered. So to make it clear, General Memphine, na kapag procure po kayo ng 44,638 ICT packages, but per report of COA, ang delivered pa lang is 16,580, equivalent to 37% of the supposed accomplishment. Can you please explain this?
Ma'am, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, if I may request the Director of ICTS, because I was not already out of DepEd since July, so I'm not aware of the updates in terms of deliveries with regards, so that maybe
General
we
Memphine,
could have
with
a
all due
good picture.
respect, the procurement happened in 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
Ibig sabihin, nabili na po ito. 44,638 ICT packages. You were still with DepEd.
Yes,
You
ma'am, but
resigned only last July 2024. Tama
Yes,
po
ma'am.
ba? From your perspective as Undersecretary for Administration and the one heading the DepEd Computerization Program, ano po ba naging appreciation nyo dito? Anong naging dahilan why you were way below the supposed accomplishment when in fact, ang dami nyo naman palang nabili? Or, if I may rephrase the question, nasan po yung nawawalang ICT packages?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, during the 2023, only the DCP 2022 was processed, procured, and only started delivering in late 2023. And actually, only the first three...
In both dates that you mentioned, General Memphine, you're very much connected still with the Department of Education.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So I'm explaining that during the 2023, ma'am, the DCP 2022 is prioritized, so it's only being deliberated or processed in the procurement. And late of October, there were only 3 lots of DCP which were successfully bidded out, and 13 was
Memphine,
processed in 20.
If I may interrupt, let's simplify the question. The 44,638 ICT packages were procured during that time. Only 16,000 were delivered. Nasaan po yung iba?
Ma'am, because the 3 lots supposedly delivered during December and early January of 2024 were subject to request for extension of some of the supplier, which we were not
Mr. Chair,
convinced.
I lament that General Memphine could not give a clear and complete account of this 44,638. And I still have a lot of questions to raise. So may I just request General Memphine to please submit a written accounting of this 44,638 ICT packages with respect to their current whereabouts. Simple lang po ang question, General Memphine. Nasaan yung 44,000 minus 16,000 na ICT packages? Moving forward, Mr. Chair. General Memphine, I wish to raise questions about the DepEd confidential funds. There is such an AOM number 2024-15. This is dated February 1, 2024. Out of the 150 million confidential funds that were given to DepEd, only 3 quarters were utilized. That is equivalent to 112.5 million Are you aware of this, General Memphine?
I just made aware during the hearing about the confidential fund because I was not directly involved in the.
Okay, but at least you can confirm that in the General Appropriation Act of 2023, DepEd has 150 million budget for confidential fund. You're aware of that?
Yes, ma'am, as member of the EXICO.
And out of 150 million budget for confidential fund, only the first, the second, and the third quarter were utilized. That is equivalent to 112.5 million confidential fund. You're aware of that?
I was made aware of that, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
And sometime in February 2024, nag-issue po si COA ng Audit Observation Memo. Ang sabi po dito, there is such a 75 million disallowance na na-justify po nila later on. And out of this 75 million, however, mayroong 15.54 million pertaining to rewards to informers na hindi pa rin po na-clear because of lack of the necessary supporting documents. Can you please enlighten us on this?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I was not part of how the confidential fund is being utilized, so I was not aware of the discrepancy, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
I understand. Nevertheless, General Memphine, having spent a long years of career in the military, of course you are aware about what confidential fund is.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Can you please enlighten us? What do you understand about confidential fund?
Confidential funds are funds allocated for the certain units or organizations for its security, maybe, and other in the furtherance of its mandate, particularly those who cannot be gathered through the regular means of acquiring, for example, information.
And how will you differentiate confidential fund from intelligence fund?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, in my opinion, intelligence fund are specifically have program being, although it's not being elaborated, but it has go to the programs of organization, for example, the law enforcement unit, the armed forces, and even the LGUs, while confidential fund has more on flexibility, but as we discussed, there is certain protocol SOPs being followed under the JMC 2015-01, ma'am.
To recap what you said, General Memphine, and please agree with me if I am correct, no? Both have a purpose of addressing the safety and security of the nation. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
However, confidential fund is given to civilian offices. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
While intelligence fund is given to military offices. Tama po ba?
Military and other law enforcement
Yes.
units, ma'am.
In other words, they have the same purpose, confidential and intelligence fund. That is to take care of the national safety and security. However, magkaibang opisina ang gumagamit. Kapag confidential fund, it is given to civilian offices, at kapag intelligence fund, military, and like what you said, law enforcement offices. Tama, General Memphine?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
But we have to share also that under Republic Act 7160, the Local Government Code, the LGUs are given confidential fund as well. They're authorized to have and utilize confidential fund. You must be aware of this because for the longest period of time, nandun po kayo sa Davao. And I understand, like any other LGUs, nag-utilize din sila ng kanilang confidential fund. You agree with me?
I don't have the exact information, but I do believe they have. They are using confidential funds in furtherance of their mandate in respective LGUs, ma'am.
Remind lang po natin, Mr. Chair, because this was flashed already in the previous hearings. Ito po yung, should I say, escalation of confidential fund of the City of Davao starting from 2016, 144 million. 2017, you were already the head of the Task Force Davao, 294 million. And then 2010, nandun na po kayo sa 10th Infantry Division. They have 420 million confidential fund in Davao City. And then that's 2018. And then 2019 to 2022, consistent na 460 million confidential fund. Napakalaki po nito, General Memphine. Puntahan ko po yung 2017, 294 million. You were the head of Task Force Davao. Pwede po bang malaman how you appreciate the utilization of the 294 million confidential fund?
Again, ma'am, in my to be candid about it, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I was not aware of how the confidential fund is being utilized or implemented. But I just wanted to report to the body that the LGU of Davao, even before and after my term, is being supported in terms of logistics, meaning our vehicles, the maintenance of vehicles are coming from the LGU. And if there are major activities like gathering, like Kadayawan, Araw ng Davao, all the security elements involved in the securing Davao City and its major events, the LGU is providing support in terms of meals and logistics, meaning fuel to our vehicles, ma'am.
In other words, General Memphine, all the activities that you raised earlier, collaboration with the Muslim communities, information dissemination, meetings with other intelligence units, collaboration with different sectors, presence of patrols, and coordination with other professionals. These are the activities which were supported by that 294 million in 2017.
I have no idea, but because aside from Task Force Davao, there are also members of the Joint Task
But
Force
at least, those activities were part of the expenditures of the 294 million in 2017. Do you agree?
I believe so, ma'am, but I'm not 100% sure.
Thank you. Now let us go to AOM 2024-15. Ito po yung na-mention ko kanina, General Memphine, na merong disallowance na 75 million. Out of 75 million, the basis of the disallowance of 15.54 million is the lack of supporting documents for payment of rewards. Reward to informers. And in response to the AOM, nakatanggap po ang COA ng certification galing sa 4 na AFP officers. 1 is Colonel Moransing, 2 is Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, 3 is Colonel Panopio, and 4 is Major General BAHO. mayroon pong pinapa-explain ang COA na 15 million. This is about payment of reward to informers, and then in response, nag-submit po ang DepEd ng 4 na certification. General Memfin, can you please enlighten us? What are these certifications all about?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, the certification that I was asked to coordinate with commanders on the area with regards to the conduct of the Youth Leadership Summit are present here. And I was just asked to get the feedback from these units of the Army in particular of how they conduct the Youth Leadership Summit in their respective area and how effective it in securing or ensuring that these student out of school youth and even indigenous peoples, youth of indigenous peoples are protected, no? Because that's one of the thrust of also of Department of Education, that our youth be able to be a productive citizens of our country.
Thank you. Now, let us go to Colonel Boransing. Colonel Boransing, there is a certification here, signed by you, I suppose. This is dated January 1, 2024. You are certifying about the 8 activities for the Youth Leadership Summit with 531 participants, as well as information education campaign with 53 activities and 9,428 participants. Do you confirm this?
Colonel Boransing, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I confirm that, Mr. Chair.
I observe that the certification is addressed to whom it may concern. And then at the end of the body, it says, for the commander. Kanino ho ba talaga naka-address itong certification na ito, Colonel?
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd like to explain about the certification.
Please continue,
Yes,
Mr. Colonel
this,
Boranding.
Our job, the 1st Infantry Division covers the whole of Zamboanga Peninsula and both Lanao provinces,
Mr. Chair, with all due respect, Colonel,
Yes, I was.
I have a limited time, so kindly give a responsive answer to the questions that are being raised. Ang tanong ko po, Colonel, kanino ho ba naka-address itong certification? Sa taas po, to whom it may concern. Sa baba, for the commander.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this was asked by the DepEd, and this is our standard format for
May
all.
we know who in particular in DepEd asked for this certification?
USEC Mempin.
USEC Mempin.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And that is the standard certification because of our multi-stakeholder activities on the ground. A lot of other agencies ask for certifications. Like for instance, during the Youth Leadership Summits, we get a lot of lecturers from other agencies, and they ask certifications. So this is our standard certifications we issued to all agencies who ask for it.
So-
Colonel, you mentioned about the Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes,
Can you
Mr.
please name some of your resource speakers during these times?
Yes, Mr. Chair. First of all, we have on criminality, we have resource persons from the Philippine National Police.
Can you please name names?
Yes, we usually have the Chief of Police of the municipality.
Please be specific, Colonel.
Okay, ma'am. So the ones that conducted the Youth Leadership Summit, ma'am, are line units, infantry battalions under us. So we
Kindly
have,
give names, please.
yes, the Chief of Police. For example, Mr. Chair, if I may, the Youth Leadership Summit, August 7 to 9 August 2023, conducted in Barangay Poblacion, Madaya, Maging, Lanao del Sur.
Mr. Chair, there are 8 Youth Leadership Summit, so at the very least, I'm expecting 8 names who were the resource speakers during that time.
Yes, ma'am. If I may continue to read it, ma'am, it's in the report.
Kindly limit the answer,
Please
Colonel,
continue,
to the
Colonel.
question.
So
Boransing.
we have the Municipal Mayor of Masio, Lanao del Sur. We have also,
Do you have the date also? Can you please cite the date also?
yes, ma'am, as I earlier said.
Date of YLS and then the resource speaker.
Yes, ma'am. As I earlier said, this one is August 7 to 9, 2023. The venue was in Maging, Lanao del Sur. So we have Staff Sergeant Bacquiao, Lieutenant Colonel Miondas. We have Private De La Rosa, Lieutenant Colonel
So how
Siar.
many resource speakers do you have for every Youth Leadership Summit?
It depends on the commanders. For instance, in local terrorist groups, where in Lanao, it can range anywhere from 5 to 10.
Is that the first, the one dated August? That's your first YSL?
YLS.
YLS.
For 2023, the first one was in May. It was in Zamboanga del Sur province.
2023, the first one was May.
Yes.
And then?
Then we have the second one is 16 June 2023. This was in Lanao del Sur, the municipality of Bubong.
And then the third?
We have July 26 for the 44th Infantry Battalion in Cabasalan, Zamboanga, Sibugay Province, Mr. Chair. Then we
fifth?
have July 29 in the Digkilaan National High School, Iligan City.
Sixth?
Then on September 29, we have in Barangay Pugan, Concepcion, Misamis Occidental. Then December 12, we had in Barangay D1, Dipolog City, Zamboanga del Norte. And as I earlier mentioned, another one in Zamboanga del Sur, this time in Dumingag municipality, ma'am. So those are 8 that were conducted in the various areas.
Mr. Chair, with the manifestation of Colonel Boransing, I respectfully move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to the head of the schools. Are they schools?
No, ma'am. Not all of them are schools. One is Digkalaan.
So what are they if they are not schools?
Like for instance, the first one last May was conducted in a barangay, in a sitio, ma'am. So we
Mr.
just
Chair, I am moving for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum either to head of the school or barangay, which became the recipient of the Youth Leadership Summit conducted by Colonel Boransing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's go to...
There's a motion by Honorable Congressman Luistro to issue a subpoena duces tecum to the head of school or barangay,
Second, Mr. Chair.
subject to the
YLS.
Youth Leadership Summit conducted by Colonel Boransing. Is there any
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded by Honorable Flores. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
May we request as well, Mr. Chair, that the documents in the possession of Colonel Boransing, which I believe pertains to the Youth Leadership Summit, be submitted to the committee?
Mr. Chair, according to the Freedom of Information Act, since these are confidential, we can share it, but if we follow the Act, the Philippine Army or the General Headquarters Armed Forces would like to ask a written request from the committee, which is according to the Freedom of Information Act.
The,
Then we will
the
provide.
COMSEC is requested to draft a letter
Thank you, Mr.
as
Chair.
requested by Colonel Boransing. Please continue, Congressman Luistro.
Mr. Chair, I wish to direct the next question to Lieutenant Sangdaan. Lieutenant, kindly occupy one of the seats.
Have you taken your oath, Lieutenant?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Sangdaan, I have here a certification which bears your signature, I suppose. This is about the 22 activities for the Youth Leadership Summit and 49 activities for the Information Education Campaign. This was held in the provinces of Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur, as well as La Union. Do you confirm this certification?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
And the certification, similar to the one issued by Colonel Boransing, is addressed to whom it may concern on the upper part and then on the lower part for the commander. For the record, Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, kanino niyo
Yes.
po ba talaga ina-address itong certification?
Lieutenant
Yes, ma'am,
Sandaan,
to the
please.
DepEd, ma'am.
And can you be particular? Sino po sa DepEd?
Ma'am, can I just give the background, ma'am? That was the instruction of
I-
my commander, and according to my commander, it was Major General Mempin who
Okay,
requested
you
it.
answered the question already.
Yes, ma'am.
And similar to the questions which I raised to Colonel Boransing, do
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have also some documents with you which
Ma-
can provide details about the recipient of this 22 Youth Leadership Summit?
Ma'am, right now, ma'am, I don't have the documents because I am no longer with the 5th Infantry Division, ma'am. I'm already reassigned to GHQ. But
Li-
I assure you, ma'am, that
You can
there are
produce.
documents in
You can
the 5th
produce.
Infantry. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I just state for the record, Mr. Chair, that Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan manifested his commitment to submit the document about the 22 activities for Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes, ma'am. Just like what Colonel Boransing have said a while ago, ma'am. I think it's much better for the
Yes,
Secretary.
we will.
Yes,
We will,
ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yes,
What is important,
the manifestation
Lieutenant
of
Colonel?
Colonel Sangdahan for the committee to write a letter. Yun po ba yung gusto ninyo?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
The
Mr. Chair.
COMSEC is requested to please, is directed to please write a letter requesting for the documents as requested by Congresswoman Luistro.
Noted,
Please,
Your Honor.
please continue, Congresswoman Luistro.
But at least, Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, can you name some of those 22 activities? Yung naaalala nyo lang po, because this is quite a lot compared to the one which Colonel Boransing had. He had only 8. You had 22.
Ma'am, actually, these YLS were conducted by the line units of the 5th Infantry Division, sir. Ma'am, just like the 501st Brigade, the 5th CMO Battalion, and other infantry battalions in the area, ma'am. As to the specific of which, ma'am, hindi ko na ma-remember, ma'am.
You mentioned which infantry division conducted this?
5th Infantry Division.
Saan po ba kayo kasama? Sa 5th po ba?
5th Infantry Division, ma'am, as a staff of the 5th Infantry Division, ma'am.
As one of the staff of the 5th
Yes.
Infantry Division. But I suppose that since you were the one who certified, you're supposed to have a personal knowledge of what happened.
We base it on our records, ma'am, on our tabulated records.
Do you intend to tell us, Lieutenant Colonel, that you were not the one who actually conducted this Youth Leadership Summit?
Yes, ma'am. The line units, ma'am, were the one who conducted those activities.
If it is not you, then who?
The different battalions, ma'am. For example, ma'am, the 77th IB, the 5th CMO Battalion, the...
Bakit po kayo ang nag-issue ng certification?
We have the tabulated data, ma'am.
Yes, I understand. But for one to be able to issue a certification, dapat alam nyo. Dapat may knowledge kayo.
Yes, ma'am.
As a matter of fact, this is an inquiry in aid of legislation. You were sworn in before we started the hearing, and this will elevate the status of being a sworn certification already.
Yes, ma'am.
Bakit po kayo nag-issue ng certification kung wala kayong personal knowledge? Nag-certify kayo, may 22 Youth Leadership Summit, tapos hindi nyo po ito personally nalalaman. Is that what you wanted to say?
We have personal knowledge, ma'am, because we have it in our data, ma'am, that the different line units...
You are aware of the data only,
Oh, sir, that are
but
different...
not of the occurrence. Magkaiba po yun.
Ganon din, ma'am, sa occurrence, ma'am.
You are
That
aware of the occurrence as well.
Yes, ma'am, that it was really conducted.
Okay, balikan po ulit natin yung question ko. Name some of the Youth Leadership Summit that you conducted, if you are aware of the occurrence.
Just like in San Mariano, Isabela, ma'am, we have conducted the YLS there.
Barangay po iyan,
Municipal, ma'am.
municipal. Ang recipient po natin, sino? Sino pong audience nyo doon? Sino pong participants?
The youth from the municipality of San Mariano. There were participants from the students in San Mariano and even out of school youth.
Okay. Any
Yes, ma'am.
other? Any other YLS that you can recall?
As reported by line units, ma'am, also in Baguio City.
You are basing your testimony, Lieutenant Colonel, on the report. Tama po ba?
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
you said.
Yes, ma'am.
And this will only mean that you are not aware of the occurrence. If the statement that you're giving to us is based on the report and not on the personal knowledge of the occurrence, then you have no personal knowledge of how it happened.
I'm aware, ma'am, that it
You
was
are
really
aware of the
conducted.
data, you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
aware that it happened, but you were not personally there.
Yes, yes,
You
ma'am.
did not participate.
Yes, ma'am. We only provided some speakers as requested by the concerned unit.
How about this 22 that you mentioned in your certification? Ito ba na-attendan mo lahat?
No, ma'am. Honestly, ma'am, no.
Ilan out of 22 ang na-attendan mo, Lieutenant Colonel?
I think only in San Mariano, ma'am.
Only in San Mariano?
Ma'am, can I give a background on...
Kawa, may I just make a manifestation? How can you validate an accomplishment report with a certification? The signatory has no personal knowledge of what happened. Lieutenant Colonel was able to attend only 1 out of 22 Youth Leadership Summit. And this is okay with COA? I'm sorry, but I do not understand. Colonel Buransing, if I may call you again, yun pong 8, ilan ang na-attendan nyo doon?
Colonel Boransing.
Out of 8 Youth Leadership Summit, ilan po yung na-attendan nyo?
Colonel Boransing, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was only able to attend one.
So that means that you have no personal knowledge as well
I have
of all
pers-
the 8 Youth Leadership Summit that happened.
I have personal knowledge of this, ma'am. Mr. Chair, if I may explain lang po, the structure of my position is I'm the G7 of the Infantry Division. So the Infantry Division has 3 infantry brigades. They control 3, one has 4 provinces, the other has 1 province, and the other brigade has 1 province. So I am in charge of supervising. I am the Civil Military Operations Officer, Mr. Chair. So I closely monitor, we all closely monitor the program of the Youth Leadership Summit to ensure that it is multi-stakeholder and it fits the objectives of the program. So we have personal knowledge. We can't go around in each barangay, but they have, since we used budget from the Philippine Army, we have after-activity reports, fund utilization reports, pictures, and documentations. And we have to ensure this because we have a yearly inspection from higher headquarters. So we may not have been there, but we have personal knowledge. We are the program managers of this.
You mentioned a while ago, Colonel Boransing,
Yes.
you were
madam.
using the fund of the Philippine Army.
Uh,
You confirm that?
yes, Mr.
Are you sure?
Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair.
For the 8 YLS
Yes,
that
Mr.
were
Chair.
conducted, you used the fund of the Philippine Army.
For our participants, we used the Philippine Army. For the students, they used the local government unit funds, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is clear. Mr. Chair, I just wish to manifest the statement of Colonel Boransing that during the Youth Leadership Summit, for the military, they are using their military fund, and for the children or the youth, they are using the LGU fund.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please continue.
Yes. They use some use the provincial local government funds, and the municipalities. Some delegates also are using the municipal LGU funds. And for the participants from the other stakeholders, from DepEd, from BIDEA, from the police, of course, they use their own funds. So it's really a multi-stakeholder.
In other
youth
words,
fund.
Mr. Chair, a lot of offices and agencies are using their respective funds for intelligence in conducting the Youth Leadership Summit. This is your statement, Colonel Boransing.
I didn't say intelligence funds, ma'am. What I said was, like for instance, for their billeting, for the hotel, they have to pay from their own agency funds. For their food, they have to pay po.
What is clear, there are different offices
Involved.
who
in this.
shoulder their respective expenses
Yes, Mr.
for the
Chair.
purpose of Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes,
Tama?
Mr. Chair, yes.
In other words, it is not only the DepEd
Yes, Mr. Chair.
who spends its confidential fund.
I have no knowledge of what their source of funding is.
But in as far as you are concerned, kanya-kanyang gastos ang
KKB.
iba't ibang opisina.
KKP po.
And for the children, the youth, you said it is being shouldered by the LGU. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Colonel. May we request Lieutenant Colonel Panopio?
Colonel Panopio, you are recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
Colonel, I have with me another certification bearing the signature of Magtanggol Panopio. Is this your signature?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
On this certification, you certified 205 youth students from different schools. 3 youth leadership summits held in the provinces of Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, and Zambales. You confirm this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
And similar to my question to Colonel Buransing and the other Lieutenant Colonel, nakalagay po sa certification nyo, to whom it may concern, to sa taas, sa baba, for the commander. Kanino po ba talaga naka-address itong certification nyo?
This is addressed to DepEd, ma'am. May I explain for the commander, ma'am?
And can you please kindly be particular, who in DepEd? Ang dami po nila sa DepEd. Sino po sa DepEd ang kausap nyo when you submitted this certification?
Yusek Nolasco Bempin, ma'am.
That's Yusek Mempin. Okay. And can you please substantiate as well the 3 youth leadership summit that you conducted in your province? Ikaw ba nakaparticipate dito?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, hindi po kami nag-participate specifically because as a staff, we are just supervising and monitoring the activities of the Youth Leadership Summit.
So
because-
similar to Colonel Buransing, you are just aware of the occurrence, but you were not part of the event.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the expenditures for similar programs, would you confirm the statement of Colonel Buransing na
Yes,
ang
Your Honor.
mga opisinang participants ay kanya-kanya ng gastos?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the participating children and students thereat, tama po ba yung sinabi ni Colonel Buransing, LGU ang sumusuporta sa expenses nila?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Are you sure?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Can we recall Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel, tanungin ko lang po yung pagdating sa expenditure. Do you confirm the statement of Colonel Buransing? Kanya-kanya ng gastos lahat ng opisina.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And with respect to the children and the youth, it is the LGU
The
who support the expenses.
Yes, ma'am, through their POPs plan, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I am done with Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. I wish to proceed to Major Dombrigue. Major Dombrigue.
Major Dombriding, you are recognized. Have you taken your oath, Major? Nakapag-take na po kayo ng oath. Okay po.
Major, meron po kayo ditong submission prepared by you, certified by Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. This is about the Joint 7th Infantry Division DepEd Anti-Insurgency Campaign from January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023. Do you confirm, Major, na ang sinertify niyo po dito ay 313 insurgency awareness and 166 posted social media products?
Good afternoon po. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Chair. Through that data was based on the reports of our line units.
Ang kasama po dito, Brigada Eskwela, insurgency awareness, environmental protection, shared and posted social media products. And then you also have number of health-related activities. Ang dami po nito, Major. Tanong, saan po nang gagaling yung pondong ginagamit nyo for all of this?
Ma'am, most of that funds was under the POPs
on the APB of our line units.
Ano po yung PAPs? Please enlighten us.
Projects, activities, and programs po.
And can you please tell us which agency is this?
In particular, ma'am, is the Philippine Army in collaborations with our partner stakeholders on the ground.
In other words, similar to the statement of the 3 prior officers, yung mga activities nyo, ang gumagastos is the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tama po ba?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And as far as your counterpart is concerned, tama po?
Opo, ma'am.
At paano nyo po ba ginagawa itong anti-insurgency awareness?
Ma'am, Your Honor, in partnership with the different schools and local government units, our line units is conducting intensified information awareness drives on security awareness, ma'am.
How about the social media posts? Paano nyo po ba ginagawa to?
Utilizing the social media platforms of our infantry divisions and our line units, ma'am, we cross-post social media products of the AFP units and to include, ma'am, the other agency social media products.
Rough estimate lang po, Major. Sa tingin nyo po itong mga reported activities nyo na to, total of 9,712, the activities I mentioned earlier. If you're aware, mga magkano po ang nagastos na pondo ng AFP dito?